fatigue or gas? What will today's symptom be? My loopy life with lupus. Now, the final thing that I wanted to touch upon is that don't let everything that you read and hear and see about lupus affect you. It's easy to at the beginning because you want to learn as much as you can about your disease, and the things that you read and the things that you see scare you. They do. Don't believe me, I was terrified. It's taken me, I've been diagnosed since 2010. It's taken me a long time to not really be okay with having lupus, but not let it run my life. I have lupus, but lupus doesn't have me. And it's taken me a long time to get there. You really do have to go through a grieving period. You really do. All the stages of grief. But, I've come to accept that this is what I have. And all I can do is just do the best I can to take care of me physically and just take advantage of the moments that I do feel well. In a way, I've been upset because lupus has affected our finances in that I can no longer work full time. But I also have to be grateful that I can work. I can still work. It may be only part-time, but at least I can still get out of this house and work. I'm not at the point where I'm on disability and can't do anything. I have to be thankful for that. And I have to be thankful for the fact that whatever treatment I've been on over the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, has really helped me immensely. Whenever I am in pain sometimes at night, I have to remind myself about the state that I was in before I was diagnosed. That was probably the worst pain, worst shape I've ever been in. And so when I'm here and I'm like, oh, my knees are hurting, my hands are hurting. But when I really compare that pain with the pain that I had before I was diagnosed, it's nowhere near that. It's nowhere near that level. And yeah, it still sucks to be in pain, but I have to remind myself that I am at least better than what I was. And I'm having more good days than bad days. And so I'm taking full advantage of that. I really am trying to get out and do things and live my life. But at the same time, again, I have to pace myself when I do that, because to sustain this better state that I'm in, I can't overdo it. I can't push myself, or else I could flare again. So, it's really about finding balance, and you just, well, here it is. Lupus is called the disease of 1,000 faces, meaning that no two lupus patients experience lupus the same way. And I think that's part of the reason it's a tricky disease for doctors to treat, because it's every case is different. So what treatment may work for one lupus patient may not work for the next lupus patient. So you have to bear that in mind too, Deidre. I know you keep asking about like the treatments that I'm on, and that's fine. You can ask me about my treatments and maybe talk to your doctor to see if they might be the right course of action for you, but they may not be. because every patient's treatment plan is different, because everyone's lupus experience is different. Some people have very severe lupus. Some people have very mild lupus. Some people can have a very bad lupus flare, but then go into remission for years and be on minimal medication and feel great and feel fine for years. And then they'll have another flare. It really depends on the person and their situation. There's so many different ways that lupus can attack the body. But it doesn't mean that those things are going to happen to every single person that has lupus. I mean, yes, you read, okay, it can cause joint pain, swelling. I've had that. It can cause pericarditis. I had that 2 summers ago. Thankfully, I caught it fast enough that within a week of being on naproxen and high-dose prednisone, it cleared up and I haven't had it again. It can cause, sores on your tongue. I get those every day. They don't hurt, so the doctor doesn't really do much about treating them. He's like, whatever, if they're not bothering you, they're not painful, so be it. But they're ugly to look at. I get those. You get the butterfly rash. Like, my face will get really red sometimes for no reason, and it looks like I'm blushing, but I'm not. It's just the lupus, and it tends to come out at night when I'm tired or fatigued or whatever, or if I'm in pain, I'll get that coming up. You can get rashes like the hives that I had. You can lose your hair. Thankfully, I have not lost my hair. My hair had started thinning out in high school, and I don't know if that had anything to do with lupus back then. I've never had bald patches or anything, though. It's just my hair has thinned out, and it's thinned out a little more since being on methotrexate, because methotrexate is a cancer drug, so hair loss can sometimes happen. But it's such a low dose methotrexate that I'm on. I mean, I lose hair when I shower and brush my hair, but it's not to the point that I've noticed, I've noticed my hair is a little bit thinner, but I don't have bald patches or anything like that. But again, like, for some people, I've heard of some people losing almost all their hair from lupus, but it hasn't happened to me. So I'm not going to worry about it. Like, if it happens, I'll deal with it when it happens, but I'm not going to sit around worrying about, oh, what if I get this or what if I get that? Because the thing is, it may not happen to me. It's different for every lupus patient. So, there's so many different things. It can attack your heart. It can attack your kidneys. It can attack your GI tract, which it did. It attacked my GI tract for a while. Thankfully, we got it again. They put me on steroid treatment, and it helped. And it's cleared up. And I haven't been on medication for, probably almost 3 years now for irritable bowel, colitis kind of stuff. Everything's been good in that area. What else? So yeah, I mean, it can wreak havoc on your central nervous system. It can wreak havoc on your brain. I mean, lupus can attack anything in the body. It can do just about anything. I've heard so many different stories from so many different patients of things they've gone through. And, I hear them and they do freak me out a little. But then I have to remind myself that that may not necessarily be my course in my disease. So what I usually try to do is I listen to other lupus patients' stories as a learning tool, just so that I know what to look for if these things do happen to me, so I can kind of get the early signs, get into the doctor ASAP, and get a handle on it. I use it as an empowerment tool, Now, I don't use it as fear. I mean, yes, I do have a little bit of fear going, oh my God, like I can't imagine if that happened to me or whatever, but I take it as knowledge, and knowledge is power. And I remind myself that it may not happen to me. It may not. But if it does, I have this information to know what to do. So, and that's why, like, it's been a long time since I've been to a lupus support group meeting, just because I was finding the meetings a little redundant. The information they were giving kept repeating. But when I first started going to the meetings, like shortly after being diagnosed, they were very helpful. I learned a lot. They gave you good tips on how to pace yourself, and tips for doctor visits. And I mean, I learned a lot from hearing other patients' stories. And it was amazing because every single patient, like I said, that was at the lupus support group had different stories, had different symptoms, had different things they were dealing with. And, you know, like I said, it was good to hear those stories, to hear what could possibly happen, but remind myself that it may not happen. But if it does, I have this knowledge now, you know. So you just have to, it's hard at the beginning. It takes time to get to that point. You know, like I said, I've been diagnosed since 2010. And it's still hard. I mean, I still have my moments where I break down crying and I'm like, why me? Why do I have this? Like, why, you know, like, why do I have to make these kinds of decisions? Like, I just want to live my life like a normal person. You know, I have the pity parties. I have those moments, and it's okay to have those. I have them. I'll cry for a night and I'll pick myself back up. And the next day I just carry on because there's nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is try to stay as healthy as I can. Follow the doctor's orders, take my medications, you know, try to get rest, try not to overdo things, and pace myself. But more importantly, having lupus has been a blessing in one way because it's taught me how to appreciate life. It's taught me, you know, how to live life to the fullest. You know, I realize life is short. And I'm not just saying because, like, I could die because of lupus. Yes, lupus can be fatal, I've experienced in some support groups I'm in online where patients in the groups I've been in have passed away. Several times I've experienced that. And it's so sad when they pass away, but it's also like it's like kind of scary because you're like, oh my God, like that could be me. But the thing is that I try not to think that, oh my God, like I don't know how much time I have left because like lupus could kill me tomorrow or whatever. I don't look at it like that because really when you think about it, no one knows how much time we have on this earth, whether you have a disease or not. Even if you're healthy, you could walk out your door tomorrow and get hit by a car and die. Okay? Same thing with me. I mean, lupus may not end up killing me. I could go out and get hit by a car or, you know, like anything can happen to anyone at any time, and whether you're healthy or not. So all I think lupus has done is just brought that into perspective for me, made me realize that, you know, you only have so much time on this earth, so live it the best you can. And that's why I feel like things have changed with me and my hobby, because I used to be more timid about sharing my hobby. I was always afraid of what people thought about the dolls. Now I just don't give a hoot because I know that life is short and I want to be happy and live my life to the fullest as best as I can. Um, and not let anyone get in the way of that. And if I want to spend my time playing with dolls that make me happy, then that's what I'm going to do. If I want to go to a movie or go shopping, or if I want to save up and spend money on a trip to go on a trip somewhere, darn gone it, I'm going to do it, because life is short. And, you know, I have a bucket list and I'm working through it. And I've been so blessed that I've been able to check off a lot on that bucket list. You know, probably if I hadn't have been diagnosed with lupus, I may not be so eager to try and get my bucket list checked off. You know what I mean? Like, I probably wouldn't have done a lot of those things yet, because I'd be like, oh, I have like all the time in the world kind of thing, you know? But no, like, I went ahead and I just did it. I saved up. I took my mom on that trip. We got to hold a, you know, chimpanzee, which was on my bucket list. I got to meet the Backstreet Boys, which was on my bucket list. I mean, I'm just getting out there and like trying to do these things, you know, because it just forces you to realize how short life is. And I'm not looking at that as a negative thing. I'm looking at that as a positive thing, and that it's making me accomplish things, actually. Like, things that I probably would have just like put off. But I try not to do that anymore. And I mean, obviously, like, some days I can't do things because I'm fatigued or whatever. But I just have to take it like, okay, that's all right. I can just have a day to just watch TV all day. You know, I don't know. So I'm sorry to hear that you've been diagnosed with lupus, but please, please know that what you read about it does not necessarily mean it's going to happen to you. Just know that. And just know that knowledge is power. And, you know, take these lupus stories as empowerment to you, because you have this knowledge of what can happen. And if, God forbid, it happens to you, you know what to do. That's the way I look at it. And just, I know it's hard now, right now, because you're just diagnosed. I get that. I totally understand where you are emotionally. I've been there. And I know it's really, really difficult to think positive at this time. So let yourself go through those emotions, let yourself grieve and everything like that. But then there has to be a point where you have to take control of your health and just do what you can to be healthy. You know, right now my doctors consider me in remission. And that's why we're trying to taper off the prednisone, because, you know, it's not good to be on steroids forever. If you can get off of them, that is the goal, to get off of them, because they can wreak havoc in your body too. See all this acne on my face? Good old prednisone. You know, it can cause mood swings. Let me tell you, you know, being first diagnosed with all the emotions that go with that, and then being on prednisone that's doing all these crazy things to your body and your hormones, woo, it was like, whoa. My emotions were like all over the place. I was like a crazy witch with a bee. And, you know, it can, I'm going to go there. It can affect your sex drive. So that was not so fun either. But let me tell you, when I started taking it, I took 2 doses of it. And after that, pain was gone. Swelling was gone. I felt great. I felt really good. But yeah, you know, it can also cause dependency. You know what I mean? Like, it's a steroid, so it also can cause weight gain. It causes moon face, which is like where your face gets all puffy. and you get like puffy in here. Now, right now I'm down to 4 milligrams, so it's not quite as bad as it has been in the past. If you go back to like my videos from like 2010, you will see the moon face. Oh man, I looked so fat, but it wasn't fat. It was all water retention from the steroids. And I had like these big pockets of like water here on my shoulders. And I mean, I gained so much weight. And then of course you get off of it and then you start to lose weight. And, you know, but you also have to work hard to lose the weight. Like it's really frustrating because I guess like also it makes you more hungry. So it makes you want to eat more. It gives you cravings for junk food. I mean, so you gain weight, but you also gain weight because you're so hungry all the time and you eat more, and it's just, ugh. So I have a love-hate relationship with prednisone because it makes you feel great, but it also causes all these things. And it can also cause osteoporosis, which is why I periodically get bone density tests to make sure my bones are okay. And I also take high doses of vitamin D and calcium every day, and try to get a lot of calcium in my diet as well. And so far I've been okay. But it definitely, I've heard of some people that, you know, their bones get so fragile from being on high doses for so many years that their bones start fracturing and stuff like that. But again, that depends. Like the more severe cases are going to be on higher doses of prednisone for longer periods of time because it's the only thing that helps them. Me, I'm kind of at a maintenance dose, but we're trying to get me off of it totally in hopes that maybe just the methotrexate on its own will help me. The pain I've been experiencing is from withdrawal. You get that breakthrough pain. It doesn't necessarily mean it's lupus flaring up in my joints right now. It's just that when you start to taper down on prednisone, your body has become so dependent on it that you get like withdrawal pain. So this can even happen to someone who is on prednisone for like asthma. They can sometimes get joint pain when they're coming off of it. It's just part of the process. So each time I go down a milligram, I'm going to experience pain here and there for about a week or two probably. It generally seems to be the way it goes. And yeah, it sucks, but like I said, I have to remind myself that it's not as bad as the pain that I had once. And so far, the pain's only been bothering me at night, which I can take care of like with my heat pads and stuff like that and sleep. So it's not that bad. So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, lupus, thankfully the outlook is a lot better now than what it was many years ago. Many years ago, you were diagnosed with lupus and they would say you probably have about 5 years to live. Now, most people can live a full life with lupus, with just maintaining, with their medications and everything like that and seeing their rheumatologist on a regular basis and stuff, which is another thing. You have to find a very good rheumatologist that really knows their stuff when it comes to lupus. Some rheumatologists, surprisingly, do not know much about lupus. So you need to get a rheumatologist that really knows their stuff, so that they can give you the right course of treatment. Methotrexate that I'm on right now, that's more of a last resort treatment. It's one of the more stronger medications since it is a cancer drug. So of course they don't go to those right away. You start out with like smaller things. Like I was on naproxen for a while. And for a good long while, naproxen was helping me. It was sustaining me. It was doing well. But all of a sudden, it stopped working for me. So then we had to go with something a little stronger. And that didn't work either. So then the next step was trying methotrexate. And it has really done wonders. And I know lots of people that can stay on it for years. But of course, if I want to have a baby, if I want to get pregnant, I cannot take methotrexate because it's a chemo drug, so it could kill the baby. So, so that's a whole nother video that I plan to talk about. It ties in with that funk I was in a few weeks ago. I know I haven't made that video yet, but I will. But yeah, so it's scary to think of going off methotrexate at this point because it's helping so much, but I don't think we're near that point. They just want to get me off the prednisone first, see how I do without it. Hopefully I'll be okay. I'm feeling pretty good today, actually. I'm planning to start getting my Christmas decorations up, so yay. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've rambled enough. I think I've covered everything that I want to say. I hope I have. I hope I've helped you some. But yeah, just surround yourself with positive people and people who are willing to learn about your disease and educate themselves. Those will be the most supportive for you. I got a book from my local lupus chapter, the foundation, and I let people in my family read it if they so choose to. I gave it to just about everyone. Half of them read it, half of them didn't. That's okay. It's all you can do. Just try to educate them the best you can. But just know that not everyone's going to get it. Not everyone's going to understand it. Sometimes they'll think you're faking it because you look okay on the outside. So it's just a hard disease in that aspect. But the people who matter most will be supportive in some way or another. And they will take the time to learn about your disease. And but also, I know it's hard not to at the beginning, but try not to be all about lupus. I think at the beginning, because I was so consumed by it, and all the feelings I was going through, and the fact that it seemed like not many people really gave a crap about what I was going through. I wanted to like talk about it all the time or tell people about it all the time and try to get them to like learn or understand. But sometimes that puts people off. Some people just don't know how to handle a loved one suffering. And so they may not want to hear about it because it's painful for them. I don't know. But anyways, speaking of which, there's a lovely lady I subscribe to who has a chronic illness, not lupus. She has a different chronic illness, but she has some beautiful inspirational videos on her channel. And she just posted one today talking about why don't people understand, or how can you make them understand? And she has some good thoughts. So I will link to that video as well in the description below. And like I said, you guys, if you've stuck it out this far, thank you so much for watching this video. I know I've gone on, but there's a lot to say about this disease, and it's important for people to learn. And also, like I said, I really just wanted to make this for Daedry because I totally understand her feelings. So, and I just wanted to try and shed some light on it for her. Just know that you can get better and you can live a good life even though you have lupus. Just always remind yourself that you have lupus, but lupus doesn't have you. Just don't let it win. Just keep fighting, and just keep advocating for yourself with your doctors. Just get the best doctor you can And I wish you all the best. And yeah, I hope this video has helped, and I hope the video that I link to below will help you as well. And don't forget, guys, to go check out Deidre's channel. I'll put a link to her channel below. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you stuck it out on this video. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Is going to be about lupus. The motivation behind making this video came from Deidre's Reborns. I'll link to her channel below. And I know, like, Deidre, you've been great at commenting on all my videos. You sent me a beautiful package a few weeks ago, and I know you're always asking to make sure that I'm seeing all your new videos, and